Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. And we sure enjoy you guys coming on live. And we always have fun. And I always love to say hello to our followers live. Mike numero uno today. You beat Janice from Brampton. How are you? Andrea from Niagara Falls. Louise, how are you? And Sandy from Minnesota. Fran from Orangeville, good morning. And Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. There's Brahim. Nick from our staff, good morning. Donna, Park Hill. And Brahim said he was late. Yeah, not by much. Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Johan, how are you? Chantal, Ottawa. And Nellie, good morning. And Dave from Muskoka. Sandy from Vancouver, Washington. Arlene from Newfoundland. Jose, how are you? And Betty Lynn from Brantford. Karen and Gertie from Burlington. Jude from Troy, New York. Samora, Mexico. Buenos dias. Barbara. Heather from Miramichi. Vince. Wendy, Markham. Kevin, there you are, my friend from Oshawa. Diane, LaSalle. And Veronica, you guys are so wonderful and steady. Norma, Texas. Doris, Kitchener. Diane, Thunder Bay. Jeanette, bonjour. Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec. Sharon from Super Hot, Kansas. David, Ridgeway. And Jeanette saying hello to everybody. Yvonne, PEI. Laurie, Niagara Falls. And Luella from West Tennessee. I'm going to say hi to Doc McEwen, Etta, because I never see her name. Bonnie, I only see it afterwards. Deb from Motown. Denise, New Brunswick, good morning. And Brahim is saying hi to Kevin. Carol, West Virginia. If I could only sing. Gary from sunny Bolton. Darlene, Saskatchewan. Marilyn, how are you? And Suzanne. Thea. And two more. Maria, London, Ontario. Cheryl. Cheryl says I always miss her. Judy, New Brunswick. Judy from Newfoundland. Cecilia from Manitoba, Manitoulin Island. Sorry, Marnie, how are you? From Matheson. Sue, Manitoulin Island. Judy and IT. Monica, Manitoba. I hate to miss anyone. Kathy, Port Perry. Melika, we love you. Okay, let's get going, guys. And Debbie and let's see, Carmel. Hi, how are you? Okay, a couple of studies. Now, yesterday we talked about an oil called PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acid. And the research on it wasn't good. One linked to autism in Japan. They find those PUFAs hang around forever in the umbilical cord. And there was another study on colitis and ulcerative colitis, and with PUFAs, 30% increase, and even higher when it's connected to bad sugar intake too. So bad carbs, bad fats, you're in trouble. That's what it's saying. Now, I just want to talk about DHA for a minute because a new study came out And it was kind of interesting that when they tested mamas that were pregnant, they found 80% of them were deficient in vitamin D and omega-3 DHA. 80% of the mothers that they tested in this test, 80% had not enough DHA and omega-3. And here's what they went on to say in the study, that breast milk contains DHA. Okay? So if you don't think DHA is important for your brain, breast milk contains it. You know, when you eat from the plant kingdom, you're going to get some omega-3s. But you're never going to get the long chain fatty acids that are contained in animal products, including dairy. You won't get them. You won't get them in mama's milk. There's DHA in there. Do you think God knows what he's doing when it comes to feeding babies' brain and development? You need DHA. And 80% of the moms, they didn't have enough of it. And I always recommended to take DHA to my patients. I said, you want your baby, especially in this day and age with autism, and we talked about that, you need DHA. And I'm big on that. Your brain's made up of DHA. Baby needs DHA. Mommy's milk's got it. But it would have even more if mommy took DHA. Or mommy was eating a lot of steak. Mommy was eating a lot of fish. Mommy was having good dairy, like cream. Okay? I'm not against dairy. You need dairy. Okay? Now, the content of the DHA in breast milk depends on mother's diet. Insufficient DHA and vitamin D depends on diet and supplementing. I'm really big on that. During pregnancy. Probiotics, 100%. DHA, 100%. Vitamin D. The baby needs vitamin D. Mommy needs to take it. Okay? And I've been consistent about that. You need that fat. You need a fatty diet. The right fat, not the PUFAs. Not those stupid oils that are made for your car. If you're going to get an oil change, maybe bring some canola oil along with you and just say, why don't you just put this in the car and I'll wait. But it's not meant for your consuming human consumption. Okay, now let me just see. I wanted to talk about this. Okay, so that was on breast milk. Do you think? I mean, I don't think there would be one doctor. There used to be. Okay? There used to be. When I was a little kid, probably maybe just a little bit after formula started to come out. Okay? I mean, formula's been around a long time. But, they always, you know what? Formula, we can enrich it and make it better than mama's milk. You know what? They sort of put that to bed, right? I know formula is still around. But let's be honest, guys. a lot of formulas contain these PUFAs. That's man trying to outsmart God. And you know, we're gonna bottle feed the baby and not breastfeed the baby. Now they know, we've known this for a long time, but even the bacteria on mommy's breast is good for the baby. The DHA in breast milk, the vitamin D in breast milk, the colostrum in breast milk. Yeah. And we try outsmart God and nature. We don't do well when we try and do that. Okay, man's smart, but he ain't that smart. They always substitute. Okay, now, study came out on poor metabolic health. Okay, so here we go. What do you and I know? 93% of the population in North America has some form of poor metabolic health. Okay? 93%. Either high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, even if it's not diabetes. Diabetes is the last thing to happen, not the first. Elevated blood sugar, elevated A1C. That's what I really like to look at. That gives me every clue I need. Okay, so elevated blood pressure, like when you're my age, about 70-80% of the people of seniors are on some form of blood pressure medication, for heaven's sakes. Anywho, poor metabolic health is characterized by this. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these factors, okay? And 93% of the population have this problemo, okay? High blood pressure, higher levels of blood sugar, even though it's still within normal limits, can be. Belly fat, okay? Big problem in the world today, isn't it? High triglycerides, and even today, here we are in 2024, and the doctors, when they look at your lipids, all they want to do is look at your total cholesterol, and especially LDL. And now I get questions every day, and I'll get questions today. Yeah, but Dr. Martin, what about lipoprotein? What about the ALP or whatever? That's just, it's crazy. Medicine throws that in. It's like a smoke screen. You know, because they're sort of getting figured out a little bit that LDL, they focused in on LDL for the last, since the 1980s. Well into 40 years. LDL, LDL, LDL. We got to hammer it down. You're going to have a heart attack. You got high cholesterol, and it's LDL. But metabolic syndrome is characterized by high triglycerides and low cholesterol, low HDL cholesterol. And you know what? I'd throw this in too. Low LDL cholesterol. Why do you want to have low LDL cholesterol? Oh, I got my cholesterol down. Yippee dippy. What did it do for you? Metabolic syndrome, okay, is characterized by that. I throw in high levels of uric acid too. This is metabolic syndrome. These are the conditions. So if you want to know if you got metabolic syndrome, get your A1C tested. It'll tell you if it's 5.4 or up, you got trouble with carbs. You're not processing them properly. You got an energy problem. You have a food problem. You got a fuel problem. That's 93% of the population. Okay? Now listen, here's the study. We all knew that. Here's the new study on metabolic syndrome. Metabolic health, if it's metabolic syndrome, puts you at a 6 to 10 times the risk of heart disease versus someone with normal metabolic health. Let me read that to you again. Poor metabolic health, 93% of the population. They are 6 to 10 times at the risk of heart disease versus someone with normal metabolic health. Why do you think we focus in on that so much? Your metabolic health. Metabolism. Think of how your body breaks energy down. How your body breaks food down. That's metabolic syndrome. And when you have trouble with breaking sugar down, carbs down, you're in deep doo-doo. That's what this study is saying. I'm not talking cancer, because we know it's related to cancer. This came out on heart disease. 6 to 10 times risk is increased versus people with normal metabolic health. Guys, that's a goal, isn't it? Isn't it a goal of ours? And it ought to be the goal of our friends, our family, to get good metabolic health. And it can be tested. It doesn't even have to be, it's not a mystery. If we could only get physicians and nurse practitioners and people in the healthcare field to focus. They're looking at the wrong thing. They're looking at lipids, and their mind goes right to LDL and total cholesterol. And it doesn't mean beans. It doesn't mean beans. Now, like I said, I'm not optimistic that we're going to change the world. Okay? I always tell people, I'm just a little guy. I'm just John the Baptist in the wilderness. Okay? And, hey, not everyone's going to listen, but I love my audience because they're the smartest people on the planet when it comes to their health. And it's amazing what they know. I'll put my audience up against anyone's audience, and I mean it. If we did tests, you know I often test you, but if there was a generalized test on the truth in nutrition, not the nonsense in nutrition, but the truth, you guys would win the contest, and I have no doubt about that in my head. Because whenever I test you, it doesn't even amaze me anymore. I say, my audience knows that. They know that. They can look through all the fluff. And amazing. Poor metabolic health puts you 6 to 10 times the risk of heart disease versus someone with normal metabolic health. Holy smokes. Guys, that should be a headline. That should be on every newscast. But don't hold your breath. But it's important you know it. And this is why I really like when people, I really mean this, okay? When people come back, look, they're lay people. They don't have a medical degree. And they go, Doc, I'm confused. I'm confused. On this site, I was told, or they're told, to lower cholesterol. I'm confused. On this site and that site, or this place and that, my doctor, my nutritionist, my dietitian told me to cut back on red meat. Why? Because I'm going to have a heart attack. Cut back on eggs. Why? Because they're full of cholesterol and you're going to have a heart attack. True or false? There's still people today talking about calories rather than carbs. My doctor said, I better cut out that red meat because it's going to kill my kidneys. Even today. Even today. I know. It's frustrating. But I'm used to it, guys. Okay? We've been doing this podcast for I don't know how many years. And 20 years before that, I was doing radio. And believe you me, I heard it. You think it's the mantra has never changed. Eat a low-fat diet. You need fiber. Meat is acidic. 1,000,000 times I've heard that in the last 50 years. 1,000,000 times. I wouldn't even be exaggerating you to say that. If I had $1 for every time I heard that. Eat less fat. Fat makes you fat. Fat gives you cholesterol. Guys, unreal. Okay? So 2 big takeaways today. Tell prospective mummies they need to take DHA. They want to be able to slide out of rooms. They're taking the best oil because it's good for mommy and it's good for baby. And 80% of mummies getting ready to have a baby, when they test them, they got 80% have low levels of vitamin D and omega-3 DHA. Okay? I like omega-3. Don't get me wrong. I love omega-3. But the DHA is the key. The DHA, EPA is good. DHA is better because it's long chain. Your body absorbs it better. Your brain's made up of that. Your eyeballs need DHA. DHA. It's much more absorbable. Your body thrives with it. Baby thrives with it. The brain development in babies depend on it. Okay. And then, wow, you want to cut your risk of heart disease, get in good metabolic health. How do you do that, Doc? Well, starts in the kitchen, or as someone said on our program, no, in the grocery store. Yeah, I kind of like that, okay? Because I used to say that all the time. Go home, this is going to start in the kitchen. But can't disagree that the first step is the grocery store. Find out what metabolic health is. Find out that you need to change fuels. Your body wasn't made for 87 octane. That's carbs. Okay, not all carbs are bad. You know, you eat a fruit. That doesn't mean it's bad for you. You have some vegetables. I got no problem with that. Okay? And if you just had fruits and vegetables, a little bit of that, that'll never give. If you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, okay, you know that. That's a 30-day thing. And then it's a rest of your life thing. But you can add some carbs. You want to add some carbs? Add some carbs that not going to destroy your fuel. So you can have some vegetables. You like broccoli? Good for you. Salad? Why do you need it? The more I read about salad, the more, okay. But okay, we'll give you a little bit. But just understand how your body operates. Your brain is headquarters. I got another study on the brain. Oh yeah, we'll do this. We'll do it Monday. Wow, a new research again on Alzheimer's. And it's incredible, guys. Out of Ben Gurion University. Okay? Really important study. I'll bring that to you ASAP. So when you change fuels, when you understand that protein and fat, eggs, meat, cheese, those are your keys. They're the keys to metabolic health. If you are loading up on that fuel and you hammer down those carbohydrates, those simple carbs, bread, pasta, rice, cereals, sugars, sweets, pastries, muffins, bagels, and it's all grain. I don't care. It's all sugar. Rapidly. So when you guys get this, and I know you do, when you understand that, metabolically is how rapidly food gets broken down. And that's why you want a long-lasting fuel. I used to use the illustration of a wood stove. What's better, paper and twigs or logs? Logs, right? Yeah, your fireplace, paper and twigs, yeah, you can use a little bit. You want to get the fire started, but you want a long-lasting fire? Logs. Logs. That's meat. Meat is a log on the fire. Eggs, log on the fire. Cheese, dairy, the good dairy, logs on the fire of the fireplace. Think of heat. That's your metabolism. That's how your body operates. It's looking for the right fuel. Look, if you give it the wrong fuel, you're not going to drop dead on the spot. But your body wants the right fuel. It was built for it. I always talk to you about your stomach. Your stomach has got more acidity in it than a lion has. And lions don't go around eating vegetables. Lions go around, ugh. I wouldn't want to run into him because he'd say, oh, there's a snack. I would be just a snack for a lion, right? They have acidity in their stomach, much more acidic than a cow, right? But you have more acidity than a lion. Hello? What does that mean? Why? Steak. Sun, steak, and steel. Okay. Guys, we love you dearly. Tomorrow's question and answer Friday. Get your questions in. Not too late. Okay. We really enjoy the feedback. Oh, I look at this study this morning and I'm, oh my word, 6 to 10 times more risk of heart disease, which still is the number one killer in our society today. Isn't that insane? And the definition of insanity, right, is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. We have been stuck for 50 or 60 years in the cholesterol hoax. Fuel, my friend, fuel. The right fuel. Okay. Thank you, guys. We love you dearly. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Tell everybody about the Doctors In podcast. Share Facebook. You can share it. Okay? You can share this. We love you dearly. Talk to you soon. Can't stop.